much about it, obviously, but I'm glad that you're feeling better, and I'm glad that we could be part of your road to recovery. That's amazing.
Okay, so when you guys first like look at the script for an episode, do you ever see a stunt or something that you kind of don't want to do? You're like, oh crap, why did they make me do that?
It's like you're in my head, right? You see the scene with me dripped in honey?
Yeah, but you do that for us, because I wasn't complaining about that scene.
I didn't even know the cameras were rolling. That's how I prepared.
You did that scene very well.
Thank you.
And it was cold, that stuff, wasn't it?
You didn't have to say that.
You said it multiple times.
But you didn't have to. Thank you.
This got downhill real quick.
Yeah. Guess I'll be joining you on that couch, buddy.
So my question is kind of specific to the internet, but I've seen the dub mash wars that you guys do, and they're hilarious. So I'm just curious, how do you decide what songs you're going to do for that? Like, is there a whole cast discussion or something?
Well, didn't that start at Comic Con last year, kind of? We were all in that box going a bit crazy on like Red Bull highs. That's how it started. So the San Diego Comic Con is coming up, so we're not responsible for our actions during that time. It's quite crazy.
Just remember, what happens at Comic-Con stays at Comic-Con.
Yeah, until you put it on the internet. I'm like thinking straight.
Sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Fit Cities for life. I'm actually a scientist in real life, and I actually really appreciate the way that Fix communicate, because it reminds me of like when I'm in my lab.
Who's your partner? Who's your partner?
Oh yeah, who's your sister?
You have to have a hashtag name, dude.
So I was just wondering if you guys have like a scientific consultant on set that like tells you how to like speak proper science, or is it just kind of just the script itself?
Well, the script definitely comes up with the scientific words because I could not do that. I mean, I definitely Google and make sure I'm pronouncing it right. We have a get out of jail free clause because we are British and so often we just that's how we say it in England. So
She's not lying.
I mean, I have a very medical family, so I call them and say, how do I say this? And they go, well, it doesn't exist, so. Which, thank you. I always get a bit nervous when someone says they're a scientist because I never know what's coming because I'm sure I slaughter a lot of your beautiful language. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right, Sean.
So it's clearly like you guys really can't get rid of Ward. What form is he going to come back?
It sounds like they don't like you.
I didn't interpret that applause as people not liking me.
Do you want it to leave the show?
I love you all. Thank you. All right. I have to go to your place because I'm free now. Hey now. All right.
You're just getting offers from everywhere.
That's a very good question. We'll have to see where season 4 goes. I don't know. I'm hoping for like robot. next. You never know. Yes, and you're right. The live model decoys, or LMDs, have been introduced in our show. That was in the very tag with Dr. Radcliffe there. So that's another huge door that's open for season 4. So we never know. I just hope there's honey.
Me too. One episode after season 2, did you guys actually film that while skydiving, or did you just do it on a green screen harnesses?
I do remember that episode. I do remember that episode. Did you notice that my hair did not move while I was skydiving?
That's just skill.
That's called a superpower.
It's because it's a wing, it's all just plastic.
Secret safe. Yeah. No, we did not. That was one of the first scenes that you and I did together. And Elizabeth killed that. That whole episode was about Elizabeth. I feel like
That was a crazy day because we went to an unknown location. It was just a big aircraft hangar covered in green with harnesses that were wired up, kind of terrifyingly close to the ceiling. I mean, how many foot up is that? I'm so bad at thinking about like.
well, how many yards then, or how many meters?
I don't know. It was really freaking high. And as soon as you're harnessed in, it's such a pain to get you out of it that you basically, that's it, then you're just there. And it's quite tight on the ladder. So that was the
You're telling me, yeah.
We really got to know each other that day.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
But it was a cool thing to do, and we were strapped to various terrifying bits of equipment and spun around in lots of wind machines, so.
That was a really good episode that you brought up, and this has nothing to do with your question. But it was a really good episode because I remember we had Vince who was directing, and that was, while we were shooting it, we're like, obviously our pilot was great, Joss Whedon was at the helm and all that stuff, but that was one of the first episodes that we did where we're like, oh, this is what our show is about. It's really about the relationship between us. It just felt like we had found the show in kind of in a new way, and we were all quite happy with that episode, and I was particularly happy because I'm in love with Elizabeth. So. She's
Quick follow-up question on that.
moving on.
Now, I know that as the seasons have gone along, the show has become a little bit more effects heavy. Like, how far in advance are you shooting? Like,
We start off a couple of weeks, almost, and then by the end, we are editing things. For instance, in our season finale, when Hive turns into the big.
I think everyone's seen it.
hands up anybody who hasn't seen the season finale. Get out.
What I was going to say is when I turn into Elizabeth's boyfriend, Sir Simmons. Okay, so we'll stop it at that. We'll say that.
So say it, but they'll know what you mean, but don't, it's just.
So there's an effect that happens in the finale that we cut together and then sent away to be rendered the very next day. So towards the end, we have a much smaller window to work with. And then it gets kind of just crazy. It becomes sort of a 3-ring circus on set. There's sometimes second unit shooting for the previous episode, and then the current one. Sometimes you're literally on 3 sets on the same day, and it's
Running
very
back and
confusing.
forth.
Yeah.
So the FX turnaround has actually gotten quicker as the seasons have gone.
It has. And I think the effects have gotten, better and better. More and more indistinguishable. It's pretty incredible. Mark Kolbach is responsible for that.
Can you turn it back up? Oh, that's the last. That was it.
Oh, okay, sure.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
That's where you are. Colson, it wasn't that hard, buddy. She came to us. Easy. And she's not goth anymore.
original new concepts to known Marvel elements? How do you guys feel as actors playing these completely unique original characters in this known universe? Like, how do you guys like being able to play around with that rather than like Chloe Bennett and Clark Gregg, who have these known characters already in the comics?
Great question.
Yeah, great question. Next one.
I think from day one, well, I have at least felt very secure within such an amazing universe of characters and such a legacy that we then get to, be a part of. So that then allows you to kind of play within very safe boundaries. So I've really enjoyed it, and I think when we auditioned for the pilot, it wasn't completely written yet, so there was always a sense that whomever they cast in it would be able to help mold the characters, and you never know until you get a group of people together, sort of where the chemistry is going to lie and how everyone's going to interact with each other. So I think we kind of all found the characters together. Obviously they were wonderfully outlined by Joss Whedon and Marissa Tudor and Jen Whedon, but then, once we all, yeah. And then obviously having Clark Gregg Coulson at our helm has been the best thing ever. That, we all very safe in his, I was going to say hands, but that's just
He's only got one. The other one's robotic, and he's not gentle. Just saying. There was a little bit of freedom too with the show, because this was Marvel Studios' first foray into television as well. So I think that we were finding the characters at the same time we were finding the show, and it's not like jumping into a franchise movie or something. We're telling a story in a completely different way. I mean, they're brilliant at these huge blockbuster movies, but we're doing something different. We're telling a story an hour at a time, and we're being invited into people's living rooms. So it's a completely different thing, and I feel like it was kind of exciting. It felt like we were on a new frontier. Now, granted, the frontier was quite small, but I mean, it was still significant. I feel like we were doing this whole thing together, and it really felt that way too. There was really no precedent. And everything is connected as well, so that was kind of fun too. In our first season, when we go to Winter Soldier private screening beforehand, and we're like, we're doing a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just blew it up, and we're not in the season finale yet. So.
Is that what Brett, don't worry, we got like her. It's fine.
And when did they tell me? They told me a little bit after that. We were all just kind of confused, I think, at that point. We were just wondering, what in the world did we do? I dodged a couple of bullets.
Turn that dial on to a different soldier, like that first season was really, really good, and then it was